Good morning, good evening, whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever you might be doing. We wish to welcome you to the Silverlight Show. The Silverlight shines to illuminate that which lies hidden in darkness. For those of you tuning in today, we welcome you in. There's a paranormal phenomena that is not very well covered, but it's endlessly fascinating. It's the idea of human fireflies. These humans somehow manage to generate light with their bodies. It's peculiar, and like I said, it's not very well covered. So, join me. You might be one of the first anywhere around you to hear about this, well, in your lifetime. Now, I'm going to take you to the 20th century, and Padre Pio, who's a pretty saintly Capuchin friar, because he lived in the southern Italian town, and he was even known for performing miracle cures. Well, he, again, living in the 20th century, was subject to more scientific scrutiny than a similar person who would have tried that in the 14th or 15th. As a matter of fact, the earlier it is, the more likely he might have find himself, instead of being experimented upon by scientists, which arguably is equally as cruel as anything else, to being subject to the Spanish Inquisition or similar attempts to exorcise him and remove whatever demons are causing this phenomena from his body. When he went into one of his ecstatic states, which basically means he was having a little bit of hyperactivity, overjoyment, and stuff like that, his temperature would go up to 118 degrees Fahrenheit. I might warn you, anything over 100 is considered a fever. And I think 114 is supposed to be the limit before your body starts to shut down. Curiously, Padre Pio also started to glow. Now, think about that for a second. Little human glowworm. You're heating up, you're generating some sort of luminescence, and indeed, he's not alone. There's other holy figures, and they all have a particular title appended to their names. Saint Philip Neri, Saint Ignatius Loyola, and Saint Francis de Sales are among the many who are said to have been surrounded by a bright light. This would happen when they were praying or serving Mass. Now, the curious thing about this, especially when it was before the 20th century, this could in fact be the origin of the halo. Because if one person can do it, we all can do it. It's also important to note that when Moses came down from Mount Sinai, the skin on his face shone. Noah was described as having an unusual countenance, a little bit more hairy and a little bit more white. And this is in the Apocrypha. If you force me to, I think it's in Jubilees, but I didn't look it up. And so much so that his father had to go question the prophets and see if that was indeed his son. I think even Methuselah, I think he went to Methuselah, if memory recalls, and said, "Is this my son?" And Methuselah said, "Yes, this is the one who will deliver us from all of our suffering." There's even cases of travelers who go to the summits of the mountains who observed sparks shooting from their clothes and hair. Sparks shooting, sharks pooting. I don't know where I was going with that particular sentence. There's even the idea that they see halos around themselves. While Mount Everest is too tall for this phenomena, there's plenty of mountains and where this would be possible to get close enough to the cloud floor where you could attract electrostatic shocks. You could mm, unconsciously produce the effect of pulling lightning into yourself. We know that Jesus gave a sermon on the mount, and it doesn't seem that that mountain was particularly high, but with weather conditions, anything can happen. And as a Nazarite, that wasn't where he was born. There's a ritual prescribed in the Bible that makes somebody a Nazarite. They can't shave their hair, they can't shave their beard, they have to maintain themselves particularly holy. And if you're in an electrically charged area with a storm approaching with just the right atmospheric conditions, you could be emitting a glow, a static, whatever it might be. So there is a long, long tradition spanning multiple cultures over multiple years. Hey, the legend of Noah is virtually universal. It'd be hard to find somebody who hadn't heard of Jesus and the many miracles he did, or Noah for that matter, or Moses. These names are embedded in our culture. But that's all speculation. The problem with the past is it's a different country. But what about the case of Anna Monaro, who was actually in a hospital in Pirano, Italy in around May 1934. She emitted a blue glow from her breasts as she slept. Now, this is in a hospital. They're able to document and diagnose this as best as anybody can at that period. Italy is not really a backwater. It's not the doesn't have the most advanced technology, but the same token, you've got the same skeptical scientists overlooking everything. They're able to check for controls. Batteries and things like that would have easily been spotted. So, whatever this phenomenon was, it was taking place right in front of medical professionals. And it lasted for weeks. Now, when stuff like this happens, doctors will come from miles around to see it. As an example, in the modern days, so much of our food is enriched with minerals and vitamins and stuff that when somebody actually does suffer a vitamin deficiency, it's a spectacle. Everybody wants to see it because it happens so rarely. There's doctors lined up in the waiting room just to get in and see this one patient. And I guarantee the same thing happened for Maria. She was observed by the best of her day, and nobody could find any trickery. And again, 1937, was it 1933? Yeah, 1933, I think. We're beyond humans' stupid age where they're putting leeches and, you know, alabaster on things. They actually have bandages and the beginnings of antibiotics. So we're not, well, x-rays were even around at this time, although I can't tell you whether they were widespread as they are today. But they had means to look into this. They had the best doctors of their time, and they saw this. Now I know it seems like the beginning of a cheap joke, but it's documented. So it's something you can go out, look up, and form your own opinion on, which is the basis of science. And none of them said, aha, I found something wrong. They all said, we don't know. So, yeah, within the past 100 years, you got a real live case of whatever this is. And in a lot of cultures, um, covering up the bosom is valued. So a woman wouldn't be showing that off to a scientist because it might put her in danger. Very interesting to wonder if we have as many recorded cases as we do of these human fireflies that are able to glow and produce energy. What's happening in other cultures where They're expected not to show that sort of thing off. With that, we hope we gave you something interesting to think about, and certainly a period to calm down from yesterday. We hope you enjoyed this episode of the Silverlight Show. If you did, please like, share, because sharing is caring. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. Don't forget to click the bell icon or whatever you have down below. That way you'll be notified of every single episode we have. Normally they're put out every day at noon. And with that, we hope you have a fantastic day.